complete, with citizen participation relegated to responding to the Bureau's plans rather than actively engaging in identifying problems and in developing solutions. From a very practical perspective, involving the community earlier and in a way that is genuinely collaborative and respectful of community perspectives goes a long way toward creating an environment in which there is far more community buy-in and far less likelihood of ending up with conflicts between bureaus and community stakeholders. In the projects we're reporting on today, the community members have been part of the planning from the beginning. As such, we were involved in hiring the consultants, participating both in writing the RFPs and in interviewing the applicants. Those consultants have understood from the time they came on board that the community voice is legitimate and that the Bureau staff takes that voice seriously. This has meant that our questions and concerns are listened to and responded to equally with those of staff. So this is not the more usual kind of public process, responding to a train moving down a track already laid out by city employees. This has been a true collaboration between the community representatives and the Water Bureau, with the community having ample opportunity for authentic input. We are a team. We recognize that such an amount of public participation is unusual for city staff and is no doubt uncomfortable for them at times. But we believe that they would agree with us that it has yielded a better set of outcomes and that our collective efforts continue to produce results that both the Bureau and the community can embrace and that the city can be proud of. We hope that you agree, and we thank you for your continued support.
Are there any questions from council after John and Stephanie's testimony?
Please do consider us a resource if you have questions in the future.
Yeah. I move the acceptance of the report.
Section.
Well, thank you very much for the report and for all of your volunteer. This is a report, so we're not taking testimony. And we've already had a motion from Commissioner Fritz and a second, or Fish, and a second from Commissioner Fritz. Have to do that at least once in a session. Carla, please call the roll.
Fritz. Thank you all for all of your time. It really has been extremely significant, the volunteer time, and including our staff as well, well beyond the expected amount of hours of the work that you did. Thank you for your work as you retire. Appreciate that very much. Thank you, Commissioner Fish, for being a solid partner throughout this entire time as we have swapped bureaus back and forward. And have really experienced this from all sides. And I really appreciate seeing the photographs, and that was why we delayed this report, to show you some of the work that's being completed. I will be putting in a request for the last $1 million or so for the last piece of the promise. It's very important that the City Council keeps this promise when we make an agreement, and I respect what Stuart said, that this is the most cost-effective way of doing things as well as the best way of doing things. It would have cost far more to have done anything else with the reservoirs than it has been to fix them. And now for generations to come, we're going to have beautiful resources that people will visit, and they'll be in great shape, and we'll be able to look back to the way it's been done. So thank you to Bob Fraley, Susan Yamba, Teresa Elliott, Gabriel Solmer, and Mike Sturr in the Water Bureau. Susan Yamba was previously in Parks, so thank you for working again both sides. Thank you to the Interim Director of Parks, Kia Selly, who, when faced with some choices regarding the signage, her reaction every single time I asked her when I was in charge of Parks was, we can make that work. We can make something work. We'll figure it out. We'll make something work. And that's the kind of bureaucrat that she is, really wanting to find solutions and work with the community, and I appreciate her work. Thank you, John Morrison and Stephanie Stewart and the whole Mount Tabor Neighbourhood Association. Anytime you want to increase your participation, let me know. I'll propose something really controversial and show up. And listen to you and then not do whatever I was going to do. So I do appreciate that you do have a really robust community engagement process, and it's not just the folks who have been engaged for many, many years, and it does include people who have been engaged for many, many years. Thank you for all of your volunteer service to our community and your community. And finally, thank you to Christina Nieves and my staff for all of the work for Water Bureau. Bye.
Well, Commissioner Fritz has really just given comments that I could also give. And so I want to just associate myself with what she said. And I think she hit all the high points. It does occur to me that there's good karma in this building today. And so maybe that's because Commissioner Udaley is, as president of the council, is chairing. But we started with a group of gymnasts from the former Soviet Union and are now celebrating a breakthrough in a relationship with the community and the Water Bureau, and a partnership that the community has described in ways that are rare, frankly, for us. And soon we're about to celebrate young people who have done art for the Fire Bureau. So it's a good start. This meeting has a lot of soul.
Don't vex me, Commissioner.
I got my stuff down here. I'm gonna go videotape that fire dog.
David, a number of people mentioned David Schaff and the negotiations you had with David to get the deal. And David was here recently when we honored Betsy Ames, who retired from city service after a long and fruitful career, and she's now in the battle of her life addressing cancer. And I really appreciate that David rolled up his sleeves and met with former adversaries and developed this partnership. And I think it tells us that no matter how gnarly the relationship, no matter what the history, there's always the potential of coming together. And I agree with Commissioner Fritz. We have a commitment we made that we have to honor. This is going to be a very difficult budget cycle, but we have to honor the commitments that we've made to the community. I also want to thank you for an excellent PowerPoint. The quality of the work shines through in the photographs that you shared with us. And I can't wait as the new Parks Commissioner to go up and see it for myself what you've accomplished and the work to come. And congratulations on your service. So I'm today with great gratitude for the amount of time, volunteer time of our community partners, and the great work of our staff. I'm pleased to accept the report and go back.
Ernestine. I also want to appreciate the incredible partnership. I actually remember not so fondly where this started and just how acrimonious the process was. And it took calm brains and minds and a willingness to find common ground to get to where we are today. So I greatly appreciate, especially the hundreds of hours of volunteer time. It's probably thousands of hours, but we're smart not to count that high, right? Not to just go there. I know what it takes to be a strong community volunteer and to push to get your voice heard. And it takes a lot for bureaucracies to really be open to listening to people who may have a different perspective than the community. And so I applaud you all. Work well done. Aye.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for being here. Congratulations on your upcoming retirement. I'm starting to get jealous every time I hear someone gets retired. Another 30 years of work before I'll be able to do that. So a joy for me as well. I'm really pleased to hear that you're working with OEHR as well as our Director of Tribal Relations, Laura John, and that there's a focus on accessibility. This is a gorgeous park. It has special meaning to me. I was married at the top of Mount Tabor in 1991. The reservoirs do add to its beauty. I have still not quite shaken my shopkeeper's brain, so when I see a beautiful old unused space, I start thinking about what I could possibly stick in it. So I am wondering if there's any potential there for artist residency or some other cool kind of community use. I have no idea. I've never been in the gatehouses. And so with that, I'll just vote aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, perfect timing. We have our next time certain. Carla, please read the item.
Item 55, recognize the 2018 Fire Prevention Poster Contest winners.
Commissioner Curtis.
Thank you very much. I am honored to have the winners of the fire prevention poster contest, and want to welcome Fire Chief Mike Myers. And we have, what do we have here? We have a Sparky fire dog.
Lightning. Lightning.
Sparky.
Lightning.
Hey Sparky, how are you? Welcome to City Council.
Sparky the fire
Not the thing to say for the fire department now.
Madam President, my name is Mike Myers. I'm the fire chief of the city of Portland. This is a very special day. I do think we have a big crowd today, Commissioner Fish. It's exciting to have some very
Lightning
special guests
causes
in our
most
audience.
forest fires, so it's not a
We'll
word they
shortly
probably like to
introduce,
hear.
them to you via our senior
Actually,
inspector,
people
Chief
now-
Cosmos, who will introduce all of the young individuals who joined us with the art contest. And to my left, it was interesting, Sparky the fire dog's here. I had a note with paw prints all over it this morning right on my desk, and it said, please tell council that Sparky is very proud to be updated on all his shots and attacks. You want me to say? So, thank you, Sparky, for joining us. I also wanted to say I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a very important component of today's presentation. Senior Inspector Kim Cosmos and our prior Fire Chief Aaron Jansen brought this project to you about 5 years ago. It is a very, very important project for the city of Portland and extremely important to the Fire Bureau. We're very proud of it. I wanted to acknowledge the work of Kim Cosmos and Aaron Jansen, so thank you, Kim, for all your hard work. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here today. To start out, just a little bit about our program, that Portland Fire and Rescue's Prevention Division, our focus and our goal is to save lives, property, and the environment by preventing fires before they start. So I personally manage the public education office, and we work very hard to reduce the frequency and severity of fires and other life safety incidents throughout the Bureau, and through a multidisciplinary approach that includes education, engineering, and enforcement. The Prevention Division Public Education Team offers targeted community outreach programs that are developed and implemented through our local schools, community organizations, and events, and in the fire stations too. This past October, during Fire Prevention Month, Portland area school children were invited to participate in the Fire Prevention Poster Contest. The contest helps spread the word on critical fire safety messages and encourages fire safety in the home, school, and our communities. A winner from each of the 2 age categories, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade and 3rd grade through 5th grade. We also have not only the winners, but runner-ups. And the winners for this year were selected by Fire Chief Mike Myers for their creativity and fire prevention messaging. So Portland Fire and Rescue would like to recognize and congratulate the following students. And I'll call you up one at a time. First of all, I would like to, and we have their art here too, to show everyone that's been framed for them to take home. Our first is our 2nd grader from Atkinson Elementary, Opal Browning. All right.
This is your drawing.
Excuse me.
One more?
And then our 5th grader, who is another one of our winners, is from Rose City Park Elementary, and her name is Grace Pollock.
Congratulations. Good.
not least is our fourth grader from Buckman Elementary, and her name is Liliana Jazewski.
Congratulations.